But what also was scary, Netflix's bandwidth to try to control the amount of people that came to them this past Friday for the Paul and Tyson fight. Oh my goodness, man. The streamer freezing, losing sound, and providing a slow reload. It got to the point where, like, I exited out and went back in at least 20 times up until the female fight that was right before the Paul and Tyson fight. And then at the female fight, I couldn't even watch that one because it wouldn't load anymore. So I had to give up and just wait until this morning, Saturday morning, to freaking see what happened. So that was very disappointing. You know, Netflix has made this huge initiative to go into the live entertainment space. Like, we've seen the comedy specials with, like, Chris Rock and Joe Rogan. We've seen the SAG-AFTRA Awards that debuted on there as well.
And we're a little rough.
They were a little rough too. But the amount of flow and traffic that Netflix experienced from this specific thing, they weren't ready. They even came out with an article beforehand that same day talking about how they were ready, and you were not. I mean, all day today, I've been seeing memes and people still talking about how disappointed they were not being able to see the fight. And yeah, it really freaking sucked, man, because I really would have enjoyed to watch despite what the outcome was. But, like, it made it really frustrating to where instead of being on Netflix, I went over to a different streaming service and was watching their content.
Yeah.
Like, I think they really dropped the ball on this one.
Without doubt. And it doesn't make sense because Netflix has money. It's not like they can't build out their servers to provide the capacity necessary for this. So it wasn't a money issue. It wasn't a timing issue. This fight was supposed to happen months ago, and they had more time to get it ready. The marketing, they spent a ton of money on marketing. So they knew this thing was going to be huge. There's no way they didn't see the interest of people. With Jake Paul's built-in audience and Mike Tyson's built-in audience, you're getting a cross-generation of people that you knew were going to show up. You knew literally more people that had ever tuned into Netflix before were going to be tuning in. So there is no excuse why you should not have been ready. And here's where the thing that really irked me is they tried to blame everybody else. There was a certain point where things were coming up on the screen saying, it looks like your internet is slow.
Yeah, check your
internet or check your connection. It's like, it wasn't my internet connection. And trust me, we all know how I feel about my internet provider. Spectrum fucking sucks, but it wasn't Spectrum. My shit was fine. But the idea that, and even more so, you worked real quick to get that screen up, to blame other people. You should have been working that quick to fix whatever was fucking wrong instead of trying to blame other people. Or did you have that screen ready to go because you knew you didn't have the capacity? That's what I really think. I think that they were prepared to have it fail and had a screen ready to go to blame somebody else, which is fucked up every which way from Sunday. So if you're going to stay in the live field, guys, especially sports, you need to be ready.
Yeah, I'm just saying. They said it drew in a massive, 60 million viewers globally, peaking about 65 million on concurrent streams.
Yeah.
But then, this is an interesting article. Fox News brought up the point of now NFL fans are worried about those Christmas Day games that people are going to be watching.
Exactly.
So what's that going to look like? That's a crazy good point because people are going to get their Christmas ruined by some drunk dads because Netflix could not play some games.
You want to know what the irony of that was? When they're interviewing Jerry Jones and Jerry Jones is talking about the excitement of the partnering between the NFL and Netflix, his mic didn't work.
Yeah.
He's talking about what a great relationship it's going to be and how awesome it is, and you fucked up his mic.
Crazy.
He had to lean in and get Michael. Just this is so fucked up. Speaking of fucked up, because we just briefly have to talk about it before we move on, but the fight. What? This was a money grab by Jake Paul and a money grab only by Jake Paul. It was the only purpose of this thing. while I won't say it was fixed, I do think that it was determined. And what the fuck, Jake Paul? Why are you scooping up $40 million and only giving Mike 20? The other thing I have a major problem with is you had a real fight that night where the competitors put everything on the line, literally blood, guts, and soul, pummeling the shit out of each other. It was like watching an old Rocky movie, okay? And they didn't get paid shit. Like $6 million, $4 million. You're walking away with 40 and barely broke a sweat, motherfucker. What is up with that? Like, if you want to be a boxer, great. But don't put these events on to pad your social media numbers and your bank account without, like, I don't know, man. I would have rather seen a real fight. And now we're finding out, the day after the fight that Mike Tyson literally almost died a few months ago, which is why it was delayed. So when we get that information, and then we hear Jake say he took it a little easy on him, of course you did, because you knew he almost died. None of us did, but you knew he did. So this was never going to be the fight that they were billing it to be, which I think is unfair, right? All these people tuned in. All these people probably signed up for Netflix just to watch this fight so that they could pay him $40 million for what was never going to be the fight they billed it as. And I have a problem with that.
Well, I mean, Tyson's got to have some responsibility.
Oh, no, totally.
Because, I think both, it was just this big, it was WWE. Let's be honest about it. It felt really WWE. And because they were completely fine afterwards, they did a lot of promo stuff where they were around each other a lot.
Yeah,
videos and all that stuff. So it's like, it seemed like it was very much a money grab because of Tyson's name. And I think that's how he's trying to do it. And he, his team, whoever is putting these things on, maybe it's the same promoter every single time.
No, it is. Yeah.
It's crazy because it makes you never want to watch a Jake Paul fight, even if he's trying to be a professional boxer, because you feel like everything is this big theatrical experience. Now, don't get me wrong. You have people like Conor McGregor, who's actually a badass that also does theatrical shit, but it's not to this magnitude. This is something completely different out of left field. So literally every single time somebody goes up against one of these Paul brothers in boxing, they're like, man, I hope he knocks him out. And then it never happens. It never freaking happens. So it's just disappointing because you're basically lying to the customer. And it sucks, man. It sucks.
And I didn't buy at all that Tyson was fatigued or that his age was shown. If you watched his workout videos leading up to it, the speed that he was moving at and the power that he was hitting that guy with, if he had come out of the corner at that speed and just attacked him, he would have knocked him the fuck out in like 20 seconds. And so you can't tell me that it wasn't determined already.
Well, my argument to that is social media, you only see what they want you to see.
Well,
so, there's that too.
That's true, but even if even if they only want to have you see the good stuff,
yeah,
Mike, the good stuff, even if it only lasted for a minute before he got winded, would have been long enough to knock him the fuck out. I mean, there's no denying that at least for a minute and a half, Mike is able to move at that speed and power and duck under punches. Then why the fuck didn't you just run across like a fucking bull and nail the fuck out of? And the other thing is, here's the thing, right? Tyson was talking about the whole time building up to it. He says he's a killer, but I'm a natural-born killer. It's in me. I'm Satan. I'm the devil. If that was true, when that motherfucker tried to bow to you, you would have smacked the fuck out, knocked him the fuck out, because it wasn't over. The bell didn't ring. That guy put his hands down and leaned in. You should have fucking clocked the fuck out. If you were real, if you were like, the monster's inside me still, Paul would have been on his face.
The whole event was kind of like disrespectful to the professional boxing.
Yes.
The whole thing, because like even with the first fight, the Indian guy and the YouTuber, freaking when he was humping him in the corner.
Oh,
the whole thing. I just felt like I was watching a theater performance from the beginning to the end.
And
so it's unfortunate.
Yeah, and you know who got the biggest Raw deal out of it all? The 2 women fighters who were there to legitimately fight.
Exactly.
Who are real boxers, who put on a real match and did what they were supposed to do. And I feel like nobody's talking about them today. Yeah. And that is the misfortunate thing about the whole thing, is because that was the fight. That might be the fight of the year, men or woman. That was like maybe one of the best fights I've ever seen. And the fact that nobody's referencing that and they're only talking about all this other shit, epic fail by Netflix. So fingers crossed for the football games. We're going to see how Netflix moves forward with this live shit. But so far, not off to a good start.
No, completely agree, man. Completely agree.